everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Late Night Craft Talk. Let's see who's going to come on. We are waiting for viewers. Maya, where are you? Waiting, Maya. Oh, there's my little messages that say we're live. We're live. All right, folks. Tonight we have a unique show. Sabea is not here tonight. She's actually over there with her booth and helping run the ASU Powwow, Arizona State University Powwow, over in Phoenix, near Phoenix. And we're going to be checking in on all that a little bit. And she might visit us tonight. She might not. But, she's real busy over there. But we'll check out the powwow a couple times tonight. Should be fun. And we have a special guest with us tonight, a special co-host. Say hi, special co-host.
Hi, special co-host. I'm sorry. Hi.
You got to know better than that. Don't make me do these sidebars. All right, folks. We got 9 minutes and 4 seconds left until we are live tonight's show. Yeah, it's a kayaking show. We're going to be talking about a trip coming up in about 85 days from now, but who's counting? We're going to be talking about kayaking the Yellowstone River. We're going to learn about the ecology, some of the logistics that go into planning it, and consider this as a template of how to plan your own adventure. Something awesome. So we've got 8 minutes and 36 seconds left. Let's wait till we get some viewers on here. It's taking a few minutes, isn't it?
It is. I think everybody's at the powwow.
Everybody's probably watching the powwow, but it'll come on soon enough. It takes a couple minutes. Waiting for Maya. I'm putting my phone on silent. Do you have a kitty cat with you?
A couple of them. Yes. Only 2 right now.
Yeah, we'll have to show them during the show right there, but it's... Folks, I'm sitting here in my office at the world headquarters of Elk Traders in our studio, and my mom's in her office, the almost employee of the month office, right there with several cats in her. She is the cat whisperer. Anyway, so 7 minutes 50 seconds. Waiting for some. Come on, what is up with the video? That was weird.
It was excited about something.
I guess so. So
we don't have lightning, so it wasn't that. You know what? It was excited because Coachella is going on.
Oh yeah, I actually went outside and you could hear the music going just like every year. And this weekend is weekend 2 of Coachella. I'm checking the live, make sure we're good. I'm checking all our pages. Yeah, we're live.
I feel live.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Checking and doing a little technical stuff we got to do ahead of time. Come on, thingy, show we're live. Okay. What I try to do is I try to get on here and try not to have it switch profiles. Okay. Yep, there we are. Okay, we're live. Let me do the share, because remember, sharing is caring. All right, we got a couple people watching. Who we got watching, folks? Let us know who you are, where you're from. I'm going to do my part.
Maya
sharing is caring.
Here.
Who?
Maya.
Finally, Maya. We have been on for almost 4 minutes. And my computer's doing strange things. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hold on.
I hear you.
We have a little technical thing. Okay, I'm good. I saw part of the powwow at ASU. So rad. Yes, definitely Maya. You hear me okay? Okay. I need to do a little technical fix right quick to my sound.
I can hear you okay.
Okay,
good.
That
a little bit a couple times, but
I accidentally hit the remote control button on the main monitor, which switched it over to another HDMI. I had to make sure that the sound didn't come over because, everything's laid out, but I had to touch the remote control accidentally. Okay, so we got one viewer going on, and wait some more. I'm looking at the ASU Powwow Live right now, one of the monitors. Looks like they're doing women's. Where is that? Looks like not a lot of people in the crowd from what you can see right there, but it looks like, women's Southern Fancy. What's popping up right now on the screen. We'll take a look, folks. I don't want to do it right now and interrupt the countdown going on. Many moving parts. There's many reasons why things don't go well. And there's one of the kayak trips. I think that's a video from the Thanksgiving trip last year. And Maya shared. Excellent, Maya. That's why we love you. Looks like StreamYard updated because we're getting a different layout tonight. Hope everyone had a great week. Oh, that is from El Presidente. All right, 4 minutes and 42 seconds. Folks, if you're signing on a little late, Savea is at ASU POW tonight. Hey, Joya. Hola. Yep, kayaking. This is a kayaking episode tonight, big time. All right. So anyways, Savea's at ASU Powwow right now over near Phoenix. And we're going to be checking in a couple times. So we're joined by a special host tonight, James's mom. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Maya. And your kitties. Yes, there will be. There's find out a reason why we let that crazy cat lady that's apparently sometimes on the show is based on a real person. And
I have a pigeon now too.
Oh boy, let's not go into that. You tell the story. Yeah, tell the story. We go live here in 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
I'm getting all the facts organized in my head.
That's scary. Anyway, so El Presidente says hi, Joy. She's spreading her royal greetings, her presidential greetings. And we got a few more people watching. Okay, it's starting to come on. All right, folks, we are 3 minutes and 24 seconds away. And I know that Kelly Jo Miller's actually out kayak camping right now, so we won't have her tonight. She'll be probably watching the show a little later. We try to get her on tonight. And we have a message from Joya to James's mom. Kitties, James, mom, yay.
Yay.
Yeah, I think it's probably a cat episode because usually we have the peanut gallery of Mochi, Princess Leia, Chewie, Savea's gang that we're here. Bark, 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 bark in the background.
Well, the kitties are asleep, and the ones that aren't in here with me are probably over there by the bathroom door looking under, trying to see the pigeon.
Yeah, God. Yeah, we're definitely going to tell what that is, folks. This is a new thing. Hopefully it doesn't last long. Let's just not talk about get rid of the pigeon. All right. Oh, I love this. This is, folks, if you're looking at the video here on the countdown, we're looking at scenes of the Colorado River. This is the Colorado River at a place called Cataract Canyon. That is Brown Betty Rapid.
That's flowing down. And it's Brown Betty because the river turns brown because of all the dirt being churned up.
And probably Brady named it. Nice little wave train right there. I think that's Brown Betty 1, and below is going to be Brown Betty 2. Yep.
I'm glad they could count because it could have been Brown Betty 3, and then that would have been confusing.
Yeah. Actually, no, that was not Brown Betty. That's Millar Canyon Rapid right there. And that is Elizabeth Plantine about to run Millar Canyon Rapid, which is super easy. That's actually the Green River. Recognize it now. It's river that kind of constricts and does a hard turn. That's Elizabeth going through. It's super easy. My mom's run that rapid.
I've done that. Yes, I just started to say that.
You have. You got to be careful because there's what's called a hydraulic right over there that's pushed against the rock. You don't go wide, it'll push against there, and there's consequences. You don't do it right.
And I don't know the consequences because I did it right. 2 thumbs up.
All right, 1 minute to go, and we're already getting questions about the pigeon. Wendy Hodge, there's a pigeon? I'm intrigued. Yes, there's a pigeon. I want to get the message about that.
Yes, we will tell about the pigeon later.
We'll tell about the pigeon later. All right. 53 seconds to go, and there's Slaughterpocalypse, my kayak over there on the shores of Lake Mojave, probably about 2019.
And James won a trophy at a Christmas parade just because they were intrigued by the name of the boat.
Yeah, we can tell that story too. I'd still like to show off that trophy to the competitor, person we know in Barstow, John Canoer.
Yes.
I still occasionally tell her, hey, still champion. All right, folks, get ready for countdown. Get ready to count down with us.
Are you going to do evens or odds?
I'm going to take the evens. Okay. All right, here we go. Starting now with 10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3,
2,
one.
Showtime. It's time for Late Night Craft Talk with hosts Avea Kamori-Yang and James Hermes. On this week's show, kayaking the Yellowstone River, trip logistics planning, and getting ready for a heck of a trip this summer. What do you call a kayak going backwards? A kayak, because it's spelled kayak frontwards or backwards. It's called a palindrome. And with that, it's time to start the show. Hello, folks. Welcome to this week's episode of Late Night Craft Talk. Huh?
Yay.
Yay. So I'm right here joined this week with, it's a interfamily hosting right there. This is James's mom, Vicky, in case you've never met her before.
Vicky.
Hola. Okay, so we're getting...
I'm known for throwing things out of helicopters.
Yes, when we ever do the fry bread drop, stuff like that. You're not in a helicopter right now, I take it.
No, I don't think so. I don't
but
hear...
you've got helicopter
the only noise
keys.
I hear is Coachella.
Yeah. You got any cats around you? Can you show us a cat?
No, they're napping kitties right now.
Got it. All right, so we got some
no, they're all
greetings right
one's
now.
way over here on the bed asleep.
Let's leave it that way. They can be destructive. So we got some
Hi,
hellos.
Wendy.
Hello,
I see that
Vicky.
you say
Maya.
hi. Hi, Maya.
Yep, and Wendy Hodge says hi, Vicky. And then Joya. Nice to meet you, Vicky.
Joya, yes. Hello, hello. Nice to meet you.
And fry bread drop sounds fun. We'll have to bring that back. We'll have to do a bit with that pretty soon. So Joy can see fry bread drop. It's where she drops fry bread from a helicopter. It's a thing we do.
I have to steal a helicopter first because he won't rent one for me.
Yeah. We have a question from El Presidente. How far are we from Coachella? As the crow flies, you
probably
driving
4 miles.
4 or 5 miles. Driving there, not with Coachella traffic, 10 minutes. With Coachella traffic, an hour.
And they're enjoying wind tonight, so they probably don't have the giant Ferris wheel going.
Yeah, not as windy as last week, but you know, it always seems like with Coachella, weekend 1 is get good weather or some wind, and then weekend 2 gets heat. Both weekends are getting wind and some heat.
Yes.
Yeah, Maya. Well, we do live very close. People have tried to become our best friends over this. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting a little lax. So we'll have
and
to
then
roll.
next weekend,
Stagecoach.
Next weekend will be just hot and Stagecoach because it's hot country music.
Hot country music, definitely. All right, let's get some business done before we move on to the bit. You know, during the pre-show, I gotta do a sidebar. During the pre-show, I had a list of kayak jokes. Should I pop these out every so often?
Until I tell you they're so bad, don't do it anymore.
Okay, but let me deal with one. Did you tie your kayak up? Not sure. Not with a K, K-N-O-T. It comes out better to me, I guess.
Is that sort of like napping and napping?
Yeah, let's just not go there and do that. Okay. All right, so with that, let's get some business. Late Night Craft Talk. This is a show we started during the pandemic. Curtis, howdy. Welcome to the show, Curtis. All right, so Late Night Craft Talk is a show we started during the pandemic in April of 2024. Matter of fact, next week is our 4-year anniversary of Late Night Craft Talk of doing this. But we started to showcase artists and people. What's that?
Can we have cake to celebrate? Savea said napping.
Somebody's watching the show. Yes, Savea.
Yes.
Napping, but Savea, you misspelled it. Wrong one. You misspelled it. It's with a K for making arrowheads. God, I roll my eyes at that joke to the point that when I have like some kind of like, stuck. Yes, Maya, 4 years. It's our anniversary next week. So just to finish the business, it's a show that we do to show inspiring. People are inspiring and showcase their talent. And you've seen how it's evolved over the years to what it is now, which is pretty much the same. And just 4 years of lots of fun, and we're still keep on rolling with it. All right. Napping is the correct spelling. Yes, Savea. If you want to, if you're sleeping, like say when you're telling your jokes and it puts me to sleep, that's napping. Okay.
That's what pillows are
for your, all right. What's that?
That's what pillows are for.
That's what pillows are for. We're going to have to roll with this lag. It's getting a little bad right now. Okay. Curtis says you're rolling your eyes at kidnapping jokes is like me rolling my eyes at Uranus jokes. Curtis, you get it. And it's actually Uranus. Anyway.
It's not Uranus?
Yes, and Savage, I'm getting told off by the boss. Branding. You like our new brand?
You changed it without asking?
Oh, we have at the top right there. Savage designed that and threw it on the show last week. It looks awesome. But, you know, you got so many moving parts. Usually I do some of the stuff in the video. Savage takes care of the branding, but it's all on one part last night. Okay. Now that she's done with that, and Savage, you want to see if you can join us for a little bit for a second? Or are you in your hotel room? While we're waiting for that. Okay. Yes, Joy, it looks good. Let's get some quick announcements done. So from Dancing Bear Indian Trader, Survey is going to probably correct me on this. Reminder from them, they are at ASU Powwow near Phoenix this weekend. If you live in Arizona, make the drive. If you live near Phoenix, make the short drive. Check out the powwow. Matter of fact, let's see if it's still streaming. Let's check out ASU Powwow right now. This is the powwow streaming right now over in Phoenix. They've got Men's Southern Fancy going on right now. We're not doing the sound just because of copyright and all that neat stuff. But we want to check in with it, folks. There is the first one. They're streaming live, Friday Night Live right there. We're taking our show to show another show. Ain't that ironic? Okay. With that, send me the link. Okay, folks, we're about to get joined by Savea. Let's bring her on. I'm going to send her the link right quick. Okay, Savea, I'm sending you. I'm messaging you now. We got a lot of show tonight. Okay, send you the link. Okay. While we're doing that, I'm going to see if I can walk and chew bubble gum here right quick. I'm going to do a quick copy. Anyway, so she'll come on and do Dancing Bear Indian Trader. We'll go ahead while we're waiting for Savea to come on to do announcements from Dancing Bear. I'm going to pull that POW in another window. Curtis says he's going to do that. Matter of fact, Curtis, that's me with the POW in the other window. Doing the same thing. Okay. With that, I just showed this computer desk while I'm kayaking on a river with the background. Okay. With that, some quick announcements from Elk Rock Traders. We do have coming up, we will be next weekend at Lakeside Rodeo, Thursday through Sunday, April 25th. What's that?
I just said Lakeside.
Lakeside. We will be there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon of the 4 sessions of the rodeo. This is year number 26 or 27 that we've been going to this rodeo. It's the biggest rodeo in San Diego County. If you live in San Diego County or Southern California, come check it out. I don't know how there's tickets still available. It is routine and normal for almost every session of this rodeo to be sold out. So check it out. If you can, check out their website, check out their merch. It is fun. It is a big show for us. And we've been there so long, we're just part of the landscape now. We also have coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow, Koopa Cultural Days, May 4th and 5th. That is our longest running show for Elk Rock Traders. We are there. This is year number 29 that we have been coming to Koopa Days, the Paula Indian Reservation. And that one's a lot of fun because they have a lot of exhibitions. They'll have the Yaqui deer dancers. They'll have a couple different bird singer groups.
Well, sometimes they have the Hawaiian dancers.
They'll have a hoop dancer.
They always have the Aztec dancers.
Yep. And guess who's on?
Savea.
There's Savea live from ASU. Can't barely hear you.
No, we can't hear you.
Can you go someplace where there's
We
less
can hear
power?
the music.
There's where Savea is at right now. Barely.
Yeah,
There's way too much background noise.
okay, hold on.
Oh, we hear
There
you.
you go. We heard you for a second.
Okay, hold on. Let me flip the camera.
Okay. It was almost as long as like vacation one time when Surveyor was hosting the show, was on the show, and I was in a kayak at Black Canyon. Look at that.
This is us at the powwow right now. A lot of people. Well,
That
it
is
doesn't
so
look like
cool.
it's a. Yeah, so
You're
that's
right there
our.
Friday
behind the
night.
MC stand.
There'll be a
Yeah,
lot
so
more people tomorrow.
that's our cameras doing the live stream right now.
Yeah, we've been looking at those cameras. We've been looking through them at the live feed. Is that Dan?
Yep,
Go Dan, technical guy.
he's helping
Hey,
out with the tabulation.
can you wet your finger and stick it in Dan's ear?
That's what it is.
Pitch his head. Dan, the technical man.
Yeah, he's working really hard. But yeah, this is a good time.
Okay, can you tell us any announcements for Dancing Bear while you're here?
Yeah, so hold on, let me flip the camera. I know that there's an issue with sound. We actually have to get some sound cords. So
There we go.
basically, the situation is with the sound. I know it's not really awesome, but if we turn off the sound, then it really makes it kind of not good either. But yeah, we have to go get a couple cables. We thought we would have everything, but we don't. But ASU Powers this weekend. I mean, come out. It's going to be awesome. Today, Friday night. Friday night, people are still driving in. Tomorrow, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be amazing. I'm talking inside, just doing it at the show. I mean, that's going to be really awesome. Everything is so hot. And being inside and the air conditioning is actually chilly. You might need a jacket.
Folks, obviously we can't hear it too well. We're getting a lot of feedback from that. It's getting really bad. Yeah, I know. The noise canceling is, we're getting a bad feedback right now. I'm going to. All right, we'll see you later. Thanks for coming in.
Have fun.
And okay, we're back. All right, folks. That is hard to do to get sound. And she's going through her, obviously her AirPod. That the reverb on that is really difficult to do to try to get it. She got a little bit of sound, but the loop started coming through from the microphone, and it's hard to do field show on the stuff. But she was able to look at it, join us for a few minutes. But we weren't able to see the announcements, hear the announcements correctly. But there it is, you powwow, and look for craft night this Thursday. Over that's hosted by Dancing Bear. It will be live in person at Brooklyn Boys Pizza this Thursday. I'm not sure the times. Look for announcements from Dancing Bear's Facebook and Instagram pages on that one. And with that, I think it's time to move on to the show subject. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, good. Yeah, this live's going to be lots of fun tonight. Okay, we got a lot of bandwidth coming out of our house tonight. But like quick, do we need to check on ASU Powell one more time? Right now, they are at Men's Grass. We're going to definitely keep on checking this out. Looks like they're contesting tonight. That might be teen boys grass dance going on right now. And I'm betting you from the dance style they're doing right now, it's almost looks like a crow hop, but I'm probably wrong about that. Okay. Now, folks, on to the subject tonight. Kayaking the Yellowstone River. As a lot of you know, our regular viewers know, I'm a kayak nut. We own many kayaks, 17 or 18, and a couple of canoes. And my mom does a lot of kayaking. You know, if you bought a long-time viewer of the show, You've seen where I've actually done a couple of the shows. Well, I will be in a kayak. And Matthew Green just messaged me. Matthew, I just had a message pop up from Matthew on Facebook. Dude, going live right now. Okay, I'm going to check that out, Matt. So anyway, so we do a lot of these trips. I'm mostly known for kayaking the lower Colorado River, doing a charity paddle, raising money for domestic violence victims, where I'll kayak the entire Colorado River from the western mouth, lower Colorado River, from western mouth of Grand Canyon, all the way to the Gulf of California and Mexico, 500 miles. And I've done this about 7 or 8 times over the last 10 years. And typically I'll be gone for a couple weeks on the Green River doing the 100-something mile section, 105-mile section of the Green River in southeast Utah. And yeah, I'm just looking at a couple of comments. We'll have to catch up to that. I want to do something new. And I wanted to do something special. I've never kayaked a river the other side of the Continental Divide. And about July last summer, early July, I went, I'm going to try the Yellowstone. Let's do that. Don't know a lot about it. I do know some things that runs through Montana, and we're going to discover that tonight. But just decided to do it. Called a couple of friends. We're just like, yeah. And so we're working on it, and that's how this came around. And with that, let's start the section of the show tonight. Kayaking the Yellowstone River this July 2024 through early August. It's going to take about probably about 4 weeks. If we get bad weather, 5 weeks to do this. And with that, let me go ahead and bring it on right now. So we're going to start off with a little bit of information about the Yellowstone River. It was actually originally known as the Yellow Rocks River by the Cheyenne. Imagine, this is a river that crosses the northern plains pretty much. It's all known as the Elk River by the Crow. The river actually got its current name by French trappers who actually referred to it as the I'm going to get this wrong. Anybody that speaks French, correct me and tell me if I say this right. The Roche Jean, or Roche Jean, which actually translates to yellow rock. And with that actually we're probably referring to the yellow rocks or the Yellowstones in what's called the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. This is in the national park. Those Yellowstones are possibly some yellow minerals over on bluffs near like Billings that are downriver from Yellowstone National Park. And it's from that they figured that the name stuck when it's translated from French to yellow rocks to Yellowstone, and the name has stuck ever since. Now, the Yellowstone, a lot of people think Yellowstone River, they think Yellowstone National Park. But this is actually a pretty major river whose headwaters are actually in Yellowstone National Park. Now, the Yellowstone actually starts from what's called the Absaroka Range along the Continental Divide deep in Yellowstone National Park. And it starts in northwest Wyoming within the national park. And then it crosses. It's got a total length of 692 miles that flows from southwest Montana. And now I'm getting a message from Kevin Hartgen. Dude, well, I'm live, really? Okay. Anyway, it flows from southwest Montana all the way to the mouth of the river, which is the end, at the confluence with the Missouri River in North Dakota. The Yellowstone is considered the main tributary of the Missouri River. If you're not aware, the Missouri River starts course in eastern Montana or western Montana, meets in St. Louis, Missouri with the Mississippi, and goes all the way down the Gulf of Mexico, past New Orleans and Louisiana, all that. This is part of the third longest river system in the world. So you got to think, where we're starting, that water right there in the Rockies in Yellowstone, after who knows how long, that water is eventually going to enter into the Gulf of Mexico down in Louisiana. So with that, the Yellowstone is actually the longest untamed river in the lower 48 contiguous United States. And I'm going to go to slide 2 soon. So we got a little information on it. It's a long river. We're going to be paddling 542 miles of it because that other 70-something miles is within the national park, and we actually cannot legally kayak the river from the headwaters because of the national park rules right there. We'd get in a lot of trouble if we did. And with that, so we kind of talked about the Yellowstone. In the old days, it was considered part of the heart of the northern plains, the country that it flows through. If you hear old stories about the buffalo herds in the millions, elk, great elk herds, deer herds, bears going, big prairie grizzlies. This was called the American Serengeti. This was this area. It was known as the American Serengeti back in the 19th century. And with that tells you just how rich in game this area was, plus all the tribes that have histories. There's rich histories: the Cheyenne, Lakota, Blackfoot, Crow, and there are probably a couple others that I'm not mentioning, I'm not remembering, but I've got the major ones right there. And that's just how historic this river is. And some people talk about Lewis and Clark, and I'll be talking a little bit about that a little later in the show. With that, now we know the river, we know what we want to do. Now comes the gathering information. If you want to plan your own trip, this is the stages we do. You want to find out everything you can. So with that, rocket chew bubble gum here. So what you first do is you want to read trip reports. You want to gather all the information. This is what I did. Gathered all the information I could about the Yellowstone, people that have paddled before. Trip reports on paddling.com, blogs, and you're looking at some of those. Publications like the one right there on the right that says Paddling Montana. That's a book that they publish every couple of years about rivers in Montana, and they do a great job at that. So those are the sources we looked at, plus, lots of YouTube videos of people that put it out there. Now, when you do this, you want to learn as much as you can about the river, and you gather all the information you can, stuff like river hazards, access points, private land. And most of the Yellowstone River is actually private land. Either side of it is private land, which means where do you camp? It's called access laws. And right of navigation is considered navigable river, and I'll touch on that when we get to that section. You want to look at wildlife refuges where you can't legally camp, and navigation hazards, which I'll touch on here a little bit later when I start talking about the river as we get further and further east toward North Dakota. Now, one of the things we also have to look at is just how much water flows through that river. And with that, this is actually one of the information. I just was looking at this about a week and a half ago to gather how much river actually goes through there. What we have is a stream flow chart. I'm getting some technical stuff here, but I'm going to get to the real pretty pictures here again. Now, this tells us what the annual flow is on an average year. So far, for snowfall in Yellowstone National Park and those areas that the river, the river drains, is having a 96% capacity. They're having an average normal year for snowfall. And when that starts to warm up in spring, that snow starts to melt. And that's where the rivers get swollen with all that snow as it starts to melt and gets warm. And so in May, it starts shooting up. And this is measured in cubic feet per second. And we start getting up to, like, say, 30,000 CFS on the Yellowstone River, cubic feet per second. That is an amazing amount of water. Think that there's 7 or 8 gallons of water in a cubic foot. Now think 30,000. Do the math. That is a lot of water going down. When we launch on July 8th from a place called Gardner, Montana, just north of the national park, that water start dropping. It'll drop precipitously through the month of July. And so we're going to see it go down and down. And when it does that, that also means something called the mud ring. The river goes up, floods all this area, and then it goes down. There's lots of mud, which means when we get to the sandbars, we're going to be battling quicksand in some places. And it also leaves stagnant water, which leads to the flying vampires called mosquitoes. Lots and lots of mosquitoes. And that's one of the wonderful things we look forward to, but that's just part of the price of admission. All right. With that, we looked at the river flow chart. Those are the things we look at. That tells us if we're going to have a high water or low water. That tells us about camping. That tells us all kinds of logistics when I look at that flow chart and when it starts to drop. That's a major thing to look at, especially with these rivers that are fed and go up and down. They're fed by natural. They're naturally free flowing. Unlike the lower Colorado River that's fed and decided by man with dam releases. Okay. With that, I got notes here. I'm actually looking at because there's a lot of stuff to go through here. All right. One of the things you also have to look at is gathering legal information. And you want to know if there's any permits you need to have to run sections of the river, like Grand Canyon. You have to apply for a permit. You have to apply actually for a lottery to get a permit to run the Grand Canyon. You just can't put a boat in and go down. And there's other areas. Luckily for us, the Yellowstone outside the national park does not require any permits. And we have to look at stream access laws, legal camping. As it is, luckily, Montana has what's called great access laws, which means a navigable river legally is a public resource. Even though there's private land on either side, a navigable river is considered, actually, because of 1900s or 19th century laws and practice, it's called right of navigation. We can actually, it's considered public access, and we can legally camp under what's called the ordinary high water mark. Remember, high water, we're going to be seeing in June, and it'll start dropping, and under that mark is we start getting sandbars. We can legally camp as long as we're below the high water mark and we're not in view of any residences, people's houses along the river. That's how we can legally camp along the river. So I've had to look this information up. Montana's got a great website that has all that law on there. So that's part of the research. You have to do this. You just can't go down the river, camp where you want. Be nice, but we're not in that time. Okay. And one of the things you also have to do is when you're looking and doing the trip logistics and asking questions and gathering information, you're looking at a lot of maps. And I'll be showing our actual float plan here in just a minute. When it comes to logistics and planning, once you do the research, you start working on how to do this. You have to ask yourself questions of how will you get to the river? How you get to the river? How are you going to get back? How are you going to get your food? How much food do you need? How much water? How many resupply points? I'll be talking about our resupply points here in about 10 minutes. And what kind of weather to expect. That's part of the things you have to do in the discovery process and starts affecting your logistics. What I have, I've been staring at the map that has our progress to date, and I'm going to show that right now. Folks, you're looking at what's called the float plan. This is the float, well, wrong one. There we go. Okay, this is the float plan. This is where you see those little dots, and you can see the mouse. We're going to zoom in here. This is the start. We're going to zoom down here. That's Yellowstone National Park where we're launching from. We follow it all the way up here, and you can see all these marks to the confluence of the Missouri River right here, just inside North Dakota. Each of these marks has symbols to it. Exclamation points have our river hazards, rapids we have to look out for, other impoundments. We have campsites marked over here where we can legally camp. In that first few days, we'll be on the river. We have points of interest, and even over here, one of our resupply points, which is a post office in what's called Miles City in Montana. This is a combination of everything we're going to be looking out for and all the notes. I love Google Maps for this and this ability to customize. And we can look at that. We can access it on our phone. I edit it. Other person paddling with me is editing it. And this is our go-to for information. And I've done so many trips using Google Maps for this because you can print it out. You can share with other people. You can share it with your support crew. It's an amazing resource that I would have loved to have had 20 years ago, but it's amazing to have now. Okay. So we have logged all our access points, post offices, and I have a couple of taco shops on there too. You need to start looking at actually doing it. And here's our plan from the start, our plan as it is. And our plans are probably about 85% certain and complete of what we're going to do. The most difficult part of this trip is actually going to be starting it. We're going to be launching from Gardner, Montana, which is going to be right over here. We're going to follow the map now. This is where we're launching, where you see the little boat launch. Not very far at all from the northern boundary of Yellowstone National Park, which is going to be right in this area that I'm zooming in on. We're only yards from the national park boundary when we launch. And we go through there. We're going to be doing what's called the whitewater section, the first 20 to 25 miles of the river. We do this. We're paddling 542 miles of it. When we launch from Gardner, Montana, we're actually going to have class 2 whitewater a lot that we're going to be going with. And we're not going to be running this in our sea kayaks. We're going to be running this in what's called, they're going to bring it in, we're going to be running what's called pack rafts. These are a couple different brands right here. These are actually inflatable rafts that actually, when you fold them up, they fold up to about the size of a loaf of bread. And they are not flimsy. These things you're looking at are almost a couple $1,000s each. And they're designed for whitewater. They hold your gear. You can actually store gear inside the chamber. It's got a watertight zipper called a tie zip. And that's what you go down. We'll be using these to run the whitewater. You don't do that in 17-foot sea kayaks. And their special design, we'll have these for that first couple days on the Yellowstone. And I'm looking forward to it because those rapids are really cool. So the class 2 whitewater will be running. And then from there, when we get just a few miles south of Gardner, the river's going to start to calm down a bit. It's going to widen out into this valley that is absolutely gorgeous. And this is a picture of that valley. I don't know the one of this one. I think it's called Paradise Valley. And for about 10 miles or so, the river's going to widen out, and it's still fast moving, but it's going to widen out and be fairly flat, super picturesque with the mountains around us. And then we go into a place called Yankee Jim Canyon. And let me show that right quick. This is a picture of the whitewater in Yankee Jim Canyon. The river actually narrows through this canyon, and creates rapids. We have class 2 and about class 3, some burly class 3s through there. And those are the ones that are going to be kind of fun. I've run class 3s and other whitewater boats, but none of our pack rafts. So luckily I have a edge on this one. But what's it called when you have it a little experience? What's it called?
A little experience?
Edge. You have a certain edge on, I'll remember the English word later.
Okay.
Anyway, Yankee Jim Canyon, and there's 3 main rapids in Yankee Jim Canyon that you have to watch for. That is going to be Yankee Jim's Revenge. Well, imagine that in Yankee Jim Canyon. And then there's Big Rocks Rapid, which is what it sounds like. It's a big rock sticking in the middle of the river. And then there's Boxcar Rapid. Boxcar is the one you really have to watch out for. That's where the river narrows. And just to give you an idea what one of the rapids looks like, here's actually a video. And this is actually taken at high water. We're probably not going to get something this gnarly. We're going to be just past that point with the river going down. But this is Big Rocks Rapid that we're going to show you a quick video of. So let's show that. Here is what it looks like without sound, of course. That's a good wave train. You see the rock right there that creates that big class 3. Look how freaking fast that water's moving. I am drooling to run that sucker, and I will be in about 2.5 months almost. But anyway, that's Big Rocks Rapid right there. Imagine that's at high water. That's a big burly. That at that level, it's probably resembling a class 3 or class 4 rapid. That big, I ain't running it. My friend who's running it with me, she can do it, but me, I'll wait till I get more experience on that one. So that's Yankee Jim Canyon. It's a 5-mile long canyon. The first rapids are in the first 3 miles of that first 3 miles, and then after that, we start to leave the canyon. And what's neat about Yankee Jim is it's amongst, if not the best whitewater in the entire state of Montana. We're really looking forward to that. And let's go ahead and catch up on some viewer questions right quick. Our viewer comments while we do that before we move on to where the river starts to go out and we start showing what the next 3 to 3.5 weeks of our life will look like on the river. And I believe from there, 500 miles. So we have a comment from Curtis Youngberg. When I worked at Sports Chalet, I sold an older version of these. I forget the brand, but they didn't pack as small. But they were still stout and rugged enough to handle. That's going to be fun. Yeah. Pack rafts? Sports Chalet is not going to sell the brand of pack rafts that we're doing.
There's two main brands, Kokopelli and Alpaca. I ride for the brand for Alpaca. They make the great boats. Kokopellis are also great, very, very good. People run the Grand in them a lot, but they're just not made as well as Alpaca. Alpaca boat, I still got to buy mine. Those things run about $1,800. Kokopellis, $900 to $1,400. But you know, you get what you pay for, and I got other rivers I want to run with that sucker. But Packraft, you probably ran some older ones, but I don't imagine that these don't usually appear in big box stores like Sports Chalet when it was open. Another comment from Joya. Well, I didn't know this about the Yellowstone River. What an amazing adventure. I'm learning too. There's still more to learn. Usually you tell me Colorado River, I'll go on and on. Yellowstone, new territory, new river. Believe me, we're both learning. Okay. Another comment from Curtis. Kayaking is a way of life. My troop always canoed. I was thinking kayak weirdo. Okay. Yeah, we're weirdos. But we're in the sports cars with the canoes or the station wagons. That said, I own like 5 canoes. Okay. Any questions for you, Mom? Commentary so far?
I'm glad I'm not going to be on those rapids. I like calm water. I had enough excitement in my life, but it was always on the back of a horse.
On the back of a horse. This from the lady that ran. Oh God, what was that name of that rapid below Arizona Hot Springs and Black Canyon below Hoover? Ringbolt. This from the lady that ran Ringbolt Rapids backwards once.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose. Your boat got tapped in. You ended up going. Okay, folks. My mom. This is about 2016, and my mom is. We're paddling through, and there's a place called Ringbolt Rapids that gets pretty good. They're at lower water before Hoover Dam came in when the river's still natural. It was the last big major set of rapids on the Colorado River. Today, it still creates squirrely current, and it still runs good at certain levels. It's still pretty squirrely and a lot to handle. And we're going through. My mom a guy cut her off when it was paddling with us. And then she got caught in a current spinning around. And I'm going through this thing going, this is fun. And I look over my shoulder and there's my mom coming down going, just with her paddle, trying to stay straight, going backwards down Ringbolt Rapids. And I'm like,
well, it would have
what the heck are you doing?
I would have been dumped.
Yeah. So she's just going with it. She's going with it backwards. She's just like, Terry got in front of me and I just got spun backwards. And she's kind of ticked off. And I'm like, you just ran Ringbolt backwards. At 69 years old. So that's her claim to fame.
One of them.
Yeah. I just remember we got to touch the pigeons. We'll hit the pigeons at the end of the show when we're talking about the pigeon. All right. Back to this. So once we get out of Yankee Jim Canyon, we start approaching a town called Cabela. And Cabela is where the river kind of flattens out. And let me show a picture. It'll flatten out through a place called Johnson Valley. I believe it's called Johnson Valley. And this is what it looks like. There we go. Mountains around us. We'll start to see the mountains go from start transferring from mountain and prairie to prairie. We'll have a fairly long transition over the next 50 miles of that. And the river will widen out. It'll start going from a cold mountain river to more of like a warmer temperature plains river. And yeah, Wendy, it is pretty. And what it'll also start doing is it will start braiding a lot. There'll be sections where it turns in certain areas. The river will go out, sandbars will form, make islands where you see like this. And there's several areas we will be dealing with this from Livingston, once we get a Yankee Jim Canyon, all the way to North Dakota. And this creates its own unique river hazard with this, because you can have, with all that braiding, for one, it creates places where we can find a campsite, but you got to look for where the main current is that's going through, because you're going to have what's called less strainers, which are debris like logs, branches that can create hazards that you go through, and you can get caught in those things, and they can kill you if they tip you over. They're they're tricky. And you can even have cross currents where the two of the channels come back together. You can create cross currents that can capsize you, especially if it's moving kind of quick. If it forms like a little chute, forms like a funnel and spits you out. The lower Colorado River does that a few places, but this is almost a whole other degree, and it happens a lot. Not much on the Colorado River these days in the lower
Well, it
Colorado.
looks like a maze, not amazing, but a maze.
It's a maze. Thank goodness for Google Maps cell phone coverage, or let's just say thank goodness for all trails with that. And that's where it starts to spread. From there, we'll be working our way down to Billings, Montana. Now, we're going to have our first major supply when we reach Cabela, and we switch out to our sea kayaks, and we take the pack rafts, and they go back to Billings. I'm going to be keeping a vehicle when I get up there, a vehicle at my cousin's house and good friend. Shout out to you, Matt Green. I know you watch the show. Hey, Matt. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple months, dude. Keeping the vehicle there and one of our resupplies. So when we resupply at Cabela, it'll be 177 miles till we reach Billings, Montana, which will be our second, or actually our first resupply, because we'll have our initial supplies. That'll take about 177 miles, figure about 30, 40 miles a day. Oh, about a week, roughly, when you figure for wind and whatnot. I'm looking at some of the comments. We have to get back to Curtis on that one on Wendy's. All right. So 177 miles. And that's still going to be 230 river miles till the confluence of the Missouri River and the end of the trip. And our second resupply is going to be over at, should I show them on the map?
Yes.
I already have. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've already kind of shown it, but I'll go ahead and bring it back right quick. So when we do that, we're going to be, here we go. Let's get back out of there. We got Billings over here. Kind of falling, folks. Bear with me. There's Billings. And you can see where we start getting into plains and whatnot. So we're going to be doing there. Our second stop, and as we go along, you can see where the mountains go away and we start getting to that flat, rolling prairie, rolling hills of the northern plains. All the way over here to Miles City will be our second drop, our second resupply. Matt will be holding on to our first resupply box. Our second one over here is going to be in Miles City. That's 177 river miles from Billings and only 169 river miles from the Missouri River confluence in North Dakota. Now, as you can see, the towns through here, once we start getting to the rolling open plains, they become less and less or smaller. And the small towns are morely just place names with nothing there, but maybe an old gas station or something used to be there. But the towns become more spread out. There are a lot of farms, and I'll zoom in here. You can see a lot of prairie around it, and then farms in the floodplain. So will we have a wilderness experience with roads right there and farms? Kinda. We're still going to be close to roads and stuff like that, which makes it nice for safety's sake, but we're not going to be super isolated like some parts on the lower Colorado or the Yellowstone above Gardner, Montana, where we're launching. Anyway, so the biggest city along there is Miles City. We'll be doing a Postmaster General delivery. If you don't know what that is, Postmaster General delivery is where you sign, and I've had to do this for customers that are on the road full time. You take a box, you write the address for the post office in that town or city, and you send the box, and they actually receive it, and they hold on to it for 30 days, and you have to walk in the post office, show your ID, show who it's for, and then you get the box. I've had to do it for other kayak expeditions. I've had friends that do it. This time we're doing it here, and my first time doing it, Montana. So we'll have our resupply box there, and that's how we resupply. And we can buy water there at some of the, they're in town. We're trying not to stop a lot of towns because the more we get out and go to a town, the less time we have to complete the river. We're trying to do this within 25 days, which it can totally be done. And that's actually average time to do this from to do this, most of the navigable part of Yellowstone. And with that, that's some logistics we're looking at. The camping, we can have rivers running 4 miles an hour. We can easily do 30, 40-mile days. There's been times I've had to do multiple 50-mile, 60-mile days. All right. Before we go on right here, we have a few viewer comments we're going to catch up on here.
I want to know about doing the zip line upside down.
Who said that one?
Curtis.
All right, Curtis, you are so interesting, dude. Sure, you accidentally went down backwards, like I accidentally went down the Emerson zip line upside down. I had fun, Vicky. Yes.
I'm wondering, did you do it on a bet? I hope it was more than $20.
Curtis, tell us, was that a bet or what? Because I know the zip line you're talking about. And dude, next time we're face to face, you got to tell me about that. All right. With that, we are going to see some wildlife, and we're going to start talking about specialized gear. Here's where things get a little hands-on here, folks, for the show. So the wildlife we're going to encounter, this is going to be fun. Some of it's absolutely new to me. We're, of course, going to see, pronghorn antelope. We're going to see elk. We're not going to see bison. That's in the national park. We're not going to see it out on the plains. That's for various reasons. All right. Short break. Curtis says it was a bet, but no money was involved. LOL. All right, Curtis.
I wouldn't do it unless it was money.
My mom was an accident.
A really good hamburger.
Yeah, kidding. My mom was an accident. Yours, if you say it was an accident, that just makes it more interesting.
Yes.
Totally. Okay. Back to this. We're going to see elk. We're going to see prong deer. We're going to see coyotes. And we're going to see, eagle. We're going to see geese, ducks, whatnot. And then where things get interesting, you're going to think, oh, how cute. Oh, wow. I'm going to surprise you. We're going to have, of course, the trash panda called the raccoon. That's going to be a problem all the way down. They get into everything.
They are aggressive. They can get mean.
Depends on how habituated the people they are. Out in farm country like this, I'm not expecting it as much. But still, when they want to get in something, I've seen them chew hard plastic hatch covers to kayaks to get into stuff. The person I'm kayaking with had that happen to her.
And she's an experienced kayaker. This wasn't
very experienced. So raccoons we got to watch out for big time. And then there's, of course, the big fluffy dog right there called the grizzly bear. We are going to be in Grizz country from the time we launch in Gardner all the way to Billings. Are we likely to see grizzly bears? Not likely. They have been sighted there. They're starting to come out on the prairie. Matter of fact, all of eastern Montana along the Rockies right there, from Canada down to Glacier National Park, down to that greater ecosystem, down to Yellowstone National Park, and even into Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. The whole area is a corridor that is still grizzly habitat. There's still grizzlies there. They're starting over the last 10, 15 years to start working their way out back onto the northern plains. There has been a farmer, I don't know the name of the town right quick. I'm going to see if I can find it in 5 seconds. If I don't, I'll give it up. But there's been sightings of grizzlies out on there as far as Great Falls, Montana. And a bit further, Lewiston, excuse me. There's been grizzlies found as far as Lewiston, which is going to be a bit north of us. But they're starting to come out there. So we got to look out for grizz. It was a possibility of running them all as far as Billings, Montana. And Billings, Montana is a little short of the halfway point. So let me get rid of Chris' comment here. So that's one of the things we have to watch out for. And then back on there was the cute thing where people are, if you didn't notice, is that cute thing called, there we go, otters. Oh, wow. People are going to go, neat, otters. There are cool. I've seen otters in the Colorado River. My mom's seen otters. I've seen them on 3 different rivers. The problem with otters is they're very shy. They're elusive. They're very playful. And during mating season, they're very aggressive. And they're also, even outside of mating season, they're very territorial. Last year, a lady went to the hospital when she got attacked by an otter on the Yellowstone River outside of Miles City, Montana. I bet you didn't know that.
I hope she wasn't trying to feed it cookies or something.
Well, they figured it was mating season.
Yeah.
And then plus if you get too close to their young. So I've been around otters. We know to watch out for it, but yes, they're trouble. They're
In a
aggressive
cute
little suckers.
package.
I've heard stories. Huh?
Trouble in a cute package.
Kind of like your cats. You have any cats around you now?
Yep. Whitefoot's asleep up in the basket.
Can you tip the camera over just so we can see Whitefoot asleep?
Yes.
Folks, this is the basket. You remember some of our countdowns and the cat sleeping in the corner during a countdown, the pre-show? That's Whitefoot sleeping. Yep. Sleeping cat. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish. Let's go ahead and get on the last section right here. So, there are some specialized equipment we have to take for this trip. A lot of it's going to be kind of standard. Let's see here. The standard camping equipment. A lot of you have seen the show. Have already seen where I've talked about kayak camping. We had a whole show just on kayak camping back in like second week of December. We had Kelly Jo Miller on the show. But here's the special equipment. We have my big kayak. This is me back in Thanksgiving Day. My big kayak. I named it Slaughter Apocalypse. You got my tent, back in the kayak, all the regular camping gear, kayak paddles, and whatnot. What's unique about this trip? Wendy Hodge says Colonel Mustard has a bed like that. Okay. What's unique about this trip is because we're dealing with Grizz, we have to take this wonderful thing called a bear vault. And matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and highlight myself on here, get a bigger view. This is the bear vault. This is a hard plastic. Let's see if I have anything to open it up. I'm looking for, here we go. A hard plastic container that's actually designed for backpacking that has been tested, what's called the Bear Institute, against grizzly bears trying to break into it with food. And you open this thing up. It's got little turn things right here, that, little screws. You open it up and you stick your food in there. These things are tough. And this was designed to hold 5 days worth of food. We're going to be keeping our food in dry bags while we're in the kayak, and these will be strapped to the deck behind us, which sucks. Yeah, Curtis says he sold a few, which sucks because this sucker weighs like 3 or 4 pounds, and it's bulky. It's actually, my kayak's big enough I can actually fit it in front of the foot pegs in the cockpit of my kayak, so it's not that big a deal. But that still displaces like water and other things I may put there in the kayak. And then my friend who's doing this has to have this strapped down. I've got 2 of these. She's borrowing one. So we're keeping food in these, but we're carrying food, 10 to 12 days worth of food at a time. I think the front section we're only doing like a week of food, but that's where we mainly need these. But we're also taking these because of raccoons. And we don't have a lot of easy ways to get to towns because there's so much private property along the river through there, the Yellowstone River, that we may not be able to legally get to town because we'd be trespassing. And we're talking about Montana. They ain't going to take too kindly to a couple of a Californian trespassing on their land. It ain't going to go well. So we got to watch out for that. So we can't do that. So we've got to really watch our food. So we'll be doing the bear canisters and whatever food that's not going to fit in there, which it ain't. We're going to keep in dry bags, and we're actually going to be hanging them from cottonwood trees from our campsite or keeping them in the kayak and the kayak secure. I've done that for years. It's rare to have an animal chew into it. It has happened, but we'll keep them in the kayak in scent-proof bags and whatnot, and also hanging them, which you hang them from a tree branch. It's called a bear line. You do this always in bear country. If you don't have a bear canister, you try it in a dry bag. You run a rope over a tree, or you draw a couple lines between 2 tree branches and try to hang it about 12, 15 feet up in the air. And that's how you secure your food at night. And remember, we're also dealing with trash pandas. I'm more concerned about trash pandas than the bears. And the trash pandas are from Gardner all the way to North Dakota. Fine. And with that, there's the food we're doing. People are always asking about food. Ready for this one?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm ready. Are you
I
fixing
have
some
been
meat?
dehydrating food for over a month, several times a week in our dehydrator. To the point I've been doing banana chips, applesauce, corn. And folks, this is a lot of food, and I've already prepped 10 meals. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and just highlight, do large video here. How'd I do that? There we go. Okay. Corn, tomatoes, red bell pepper. I'm not going to keep on going on because there's a lot here, but we have okra. I love okra. Dehydrated okra, green beans, whatever that is, carrots. So all the veggies right there. I've dehydrated 3 pounds of hamburger. And I'm going to eat some of the okra chips. I just want to, it just looks good. And few days ago, I actually started putting together some of the meals. And this is what they look like. This is my actual food going. This is 10 meals so far. I'm not going to show all of them, but the main ones. I put them in, I heat, vacuum seal them. This right here is pearled couscous with tomatoes, carrots, red bell peppers, and peas. And I actually write how to cook it on there because if I'm really tired and brain dead, I'm like, I just follow the directions, even though it seems obvious. But when you're tired, you want those directions. You want the obvious. We got baked beans. Baked beans with bell pepper, celery, and corn right there. And about half a cup of hamburger meat for the protein. Half a cup of dehydrated hamburger is equivalent to half a pound of hamburger. So there's that. There's a lot of pastas on here. Here's another one right here. We have shepherd's pie, the beginnings of shepherd's pie with hamburger, carrots, and whatnot. And in another bag, I've got the instant mashed potatoes. This is all stuff I want to keep refrigerated. This is actually good. The way I package these is probably good for 6-8 months. Stored just outdoor, stored in a pantry or a cool place. These will be sitting in my kayak most of the time. But I keep in the fridge because I want to keep them fresh. I mean, this is my dinner in 2.5 months. So yeah, I want to keep in the fridge and make sure it stays good. But I have a harvest blend stuff right here with a harvest blend with some other stuff I added that I bought from Trader Joe's and added that. There's going to be a couple meals where I'll do dehydrated refried beans and add hamburger and have burritos. But there's a lot of pastas that we do. And that's a good one. Oh, some pastas we'll do and whatnot. And occasionally some nights we'll do heart of palm. But those amongst the dinners. We do all our own. I won't do freeze-dried like Backpacker's Pantry because of all the sodium in it. I'm huge about that. And those are the dinners. I'm excited. I covered just about 3 or 4 of them, but each dish is different. The baked beans ones are ones I want to have to do on days that I want to have to do long miles. I'll have that for dinner the night before. That's a fart joke.
Well, it takes a little longer to rehydrate the beans too.
Yeah, but I want to have the gas for the next day. Come on, folks. You're not going to laugh at my fart joke?
Ha, ha, ha.
I love your enthusiasm. We'll go with it. I'm going to eat okra.
Well, it's late,
Yeah.
It's just
We're almost up.
I might get.
We're going to go in a few minutes overtime, folks. We're wrapping up. Yeah. All right. So that's the food we're going to be doing. And then once we get to the end, when we get to this is going to be our life, for good 2-3 weeks, doing this every day. We're going to watch for the weather, stuff like that, because when you start getting into eastern Montana and the rolling plains, it's known for its wind, and it gets vicious, which is nothing new for me, but new river, new territory, same old friend, the wind. But once we start getting to the end, we're going to be able to know what day, once we start getting within about 100 miles of the confluence of the Missouri, when we're going to be coming, when we'll be arriving. And when we get there, this is what the confluence looks like. Well, first of all, I got to show what the vehicle going. This is the Forerunner and Slaughter Apocalypse strapped on top. But this is the confluence. What you see in the foreground right there is the Yellowstone River that's coming in, and coming in from the right and going to the left is the Missouri River. This is just in North Dakota. It's so just a little ways into North Dakota that you can probably see Montana in the extreme background of this picture. So we come in, we'll be landing here, coming to the confluence, and then our takeout, you can see it almost right there. We're going to be landing at a place called the Missouri Yellowstone Confluence Interpretive Center. I've actually been in contact with them. They know we're coming, but we'll be landing there. You can see a beautiful shot of the confluence and the Missouri River moving on. And the extreme left of that photo is a campground with a boat ramp. We'll be landing somewhere around August 3rd to 5th is what we're hoping for. That's where we're aiming. And we're going to be met by a friend of the show, and she's been on the show a couple times, Helen Howard, who is a known, well-respected whitewater paddler and rower, and just very well known for her knowledge of rivers in general, very well respected in the boating community. And she actually volunteers during the summer at Colbeck's Landing in Missouri Breaks National Monument over toward western Montana, the other side of the state. And Helen loves to drive. So she's going to be meeting us there in North Dakota and driving us the 6 hours back to Billings for what's going to basically be, at least in my experience, the mother of all river shuttles.
Yes.
Driving across Montana to North Dakota, pick us up to take us back to Southwest Montana. Central right there to Billings, Montana to get our vehicle. Helen, you're amazing. I talked to her earlier this evening, and let's just say I'm glad I have friends like her.
Yeah.
So she's come over to pick us up. She loves doing this stuff. And I said, "Are you sure you want to do this? That's a long drive." She goes, "I love driving through eastern Montana and seeing the open rolling prairie." And I'm like, "I guess so." But that'll be the end of the trip. So, about a month, when you figure about 4 or 5 weeks. And one of the questions I get is why? This will be the longest expedition I've done by 40 miles. Well, 22 miles. I've done many this length. And why do you do it?
Because it's there.
Rivers call to me. It is not being connected with the environment or feeling part of the environment with it. It's a partnership, and the river's the guide. And you go over, and each river teaches a different lesson. But I won't say they speak to you, but you learn through impressions, experience, taking in the moment, and you do it because it's just see what the river has to tell you. And it ain't in English, it ain't in voices, nothing 5150, but just that way. And we actually have a unique connection to this river, my family. We talked about it. I alluded to it at the beginning of the show, but we still have to do some confirmations. But Lewis and Clark in 1806 split into two on their way back during the Core Discovery, and they split to explore where Meriwether Lewis explored part of the Missouri River and came back, and Clark went with half the expedition down to Yellowstone National Park area to paddle the Yellowstone or row the Yellowstone to meet Meriwether Lewis at the confluence of the Missouri River. One of my great uncles was on that group. We don't know if it's confirmed yet, if he's one of the ones that went down the Yellowstone. But it's looking pretty likely as we just kind of shore up and confirm what we know of the family history of that. So my friend who I'm paddling with is ecstatic that she's going down with one of the people who's a descendant of one of the people from the Core Discovery that went down this in 1806. So for my family going down this river, we have a family history with it. Let's just say I ain't the first. I'm possibly the second, maybe the third or fourth. But one of our relatives uncles was one of the native guides on the Lewis and Clark expedition. So in a way, there's a family connection to this. Is another reason the river calls to me, and rivers call to me, and this one is the one I get to answer the call to next, and that's why I paddle. That's why I want to paddle the Yellowstone River. And that's it, folks. That's what we got. That is the expedition. We'll be doing updates of this, and we still got to do the pigeon. We're going to do the pigeon, and we'll kill the show. When I'm paddling, my mom will be co-hosting with Savea in July. I will be sending updates. If I have enough coverage, I will appear on the show, kind of like Savea did tonight, because I want to get my I won't say beauty sleep. That's a misnomer. But I will be checking in, sending in pictures, short video clips during the trip, so y'all can be share with it on the show. And then when I get back in one of our live shows in August, I'm going to have one hell of a story to tell.
Yes, you will.
Yes, I will. And with that is let's go ahead and look at a couple viewer comments. Curtis says, "Where's the cheesecake, you April fooling bugger?" Somebody's reads the Facebook. I didn't dehydrate the cheesecake. There's too much fat. That was the April Fool's joke. That said, there is river cheesecake. It's called no bake cheesecake, and use the river as the fridge to cool it. And we're actually going to be making some at the halfway point. Is a place called Dante's Pillar. Probably about 2 days past Billings. The halfway point, we're going to be making what I call river cheesecake. When we use the no bake cheesecake and to celebrate the halfway point. And also Dante's Pillar is actually where the last physical evidence of the Lewis and Clark expedition is, on this big sandstone butte by the river. There's lots of Native American petroglyphs, which is like, my God, that's the Sistine Chapel to me. And we're going to go over and see where he signed it, going, yep, my uncle's somewhere around here. Hopefully it wasn't you stand there with a spittoon and a big cigar going, yeah, kids. Kind of like my mom does. All right. Maya says, wow, that is a lot of food. Yes, it is. I don't want to say how much I've been spending on it. And I still got to do 15 more dinners. I got to do 20. I'm basing my food off 25 days. And there's still the breakfasts and the lunches. Dinner's the main meal. And then from, that's a great friend from Maya. Yep. Okay. With that, that's our presentation on the Yellowstone River. Now we got to know what the heck's with the pigeon.
So Thursdays we get home from street fair and get in bed about midnight.
Yeah, Palm Springs Street Fair.
And about 3:30 Friday morning, I woke up, I kept hearing a bird like tweeting or calling in distress. And I got up to find out what in the world is going on. Well, I get in the living room and I've got 5 or 6 cats over behind my couch. It sits about 2 feet out from the window. And there's a pigeon, and it's still alive, and it has fewer feathers, but it's alive. And it hadn't lost but one flight feather. So I picked it up and took it away from the cats. And I've washed its wing where it's wounded. One wing, both wings work, but one's wounded and one's fine. And I just decided to try to see how if it does well, and it is eating and drinking and pooping. So we have it in our hall bathroom, and if it does okay, I'll keep it for about 3 or 4 days. If it doesn't start getting better, then I have to put it to sleep. Not my favorite thing. I'm probably saving this poor bird to put it up in a tree and have my cats get it and kill it. But it was alive when I found it. So I thought, what the heck? When I was a kid, when people would find rabbits or baby bunnies, they would always bring them to me, and I've raised them. So back to my childhood.
We actually do have a rabbit that was abandoned by our neighbors a few years ago. And it hangs around our house. We feed it, and the rabbit likes to go over and play with our cats in the backyard.
Yeah, they run around, chase each other in the backyard.
The rabbit and the cats. Little lop-eared old rabbit.
The rabbit eats cat food.
So yeah, so
nice rabbit food, and it eats some of that, and it gets a carrot every day. But she likes cat food too. I think she thinks she's cat.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna have to put a video of that one morning and show that on the show.
It's
And with
hilarious.
that, folks, that's the pigeon staying in the bathroom. We have to keep the
Well,
cats
I
out of
clean
the
up
bathroom.
after it 2 or 3 times a day, but what the heck? It's worth it.
That's the farm girl right there in the big heart.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's gonna put it to sleep, which means, yeah, folks, she's gonna kill it. If it's injured right there anyway, we're not gonna get into that part.
Nah. No, too
No.
many details.
You just say farm girl right there. All right, with that, yeah, what the suspense Wendy was wondering about that with the pigeon. Good luck with the pigeon. Thank you very much. And with that, this has been this week's episode. What we got? Hope the pigeon gets better. Thank you, Maya. We're not going to name it.
We're not naming it, and don't send it get well cards.
Please. Okay.
Oh, and it does like red bell pepper. Better than lettuce.
We're not naming the pigeon.
No, we're not. If it gets a name, it's going to be called Dinner.
Kiki at dinner. Okay. All right, folks. We're going to be doing a couple. I'll tell you now, we will have 2 weeks worth of replays. We'll be at Lakeside Rodeo next Friday.
Yay, Lakeside.
Yay, Lakeside. We'll be at Koopa Days the following weekend. Savea's got some stuff coming up, so we will be airing a couple of our favorite episodes from 2021 or 2022 the next 2 weeks. And we will be back live May, I think it's Mother's Day weekend, isn't it?
I think so, yes.
Yep. So that'll be like May 8th, whatever the date is on that one. But second weekend of May, we'll be back live again with Savea and I. And lots of fun and lots of cool stuff coming up. Otherwise, thank you for an informational, exciting show. Thank you, Maya, from El Presidente. Otherwise, we'll be doing a little short stuff here and there to promote the other replays. But we're gonna have a lot of fun. Look for us. We're gonna be doing some live streaming from Lakeside Rodeo and Koopa Days Apollo Reservation. And matter of fact, should we check in with? Let's check in with.
Powwow.
Okay, yeah, the powwow's over. Of course, they're also an hour. Well, no, they're not an hour ahead of us right now.
No.
No, it's over, so there's no live stream on that one. But be sure to go ahead and check out ASU Powwow, their live stream. You can find that if you go to Facebook. I believe they're also live on YouTube. Just type in 2024 ASU Powwow, and you'll be able to find the live stream. Took me like 20 seconds to find it and get it up there. So be sure to check that out this weekend. And folks, be excellent to each other. Thank you for watching. If you want to take tonight, take the lessons, take the smarts, pick your own adventure. Doesn't have to be wilderness. It could be life. Life's an adventure anyway. Get brave. Do something amazing. And with that, that's what I got. You got any good words?
Good night.
Right. Good night, folks. On YouTube. That's where I watch. Okay. I'm looking at Curtis. He's watching on you. You watched it on YouTube. All right, folks. I am loading the credits right quick. There's only so much RAM on the computer to load all these videos and everything going on. Okay. We'll see you next week. Get ready to dance. Thanks for watching. You did do it. Do headbang. Dance like you're partying Coachella.
Aw, ain't he cute?
Good night, folks.
Good night.